It's Friday, October 25, 2019, and this is Globespan 24x7 News. Good evening and thanks for joining us. My name is Samuel Suknaden, coming to you live from Georgetown, Guyana. Here are the major headlines for today. Things happen with talks ongoing, says PNC on alleged APNU-AFC stalemate. APNU-AFC may have to make some compromises in order to move forward, says political analysts. Security Minister says increased police patrols for Diwali and Christmas season. Lazy Tongue and All Boys Tongue, several other communities on the flood watch, and Ghana prepares to celebrate Diwali. Police issue regular traffic advisory. Over to you, Whitney.
Thank you, Samuel. Good evening. Happy Diwali to you wherever you are around the world if you started celebrating today. And now for a look at the headlines in the region and around the world. Diwali preparations picking up pace in New York. Another body found at illegal dumping site in Trinidad. Russian agent Maria Butina freed from U.S. prison. Zimbabwean protests economic crisis due to EU and U.S. sanctions. India's ruling party loses majority in key state election. These and other stories in a short while. Now our sports anchor with today's headlines.
Thanks, Whitney. Here's a look at what's happening in the world of sports. We'll tell you in tonight's edition that Ghana to host Aruba on November 15 as fixtures for CONCACAF Nations League group stage is confirmed. And good luck loses title to Trinidad's Rambaran as the WIFBSC championships come to an end. And internationally, China is expected to host an historic football tournament. Back to you, Samuel.
Thanks, Kingsley. And now for a look at the news. A Partnership for National Unity APNU lead negotiator for the revision of the Cummingsburg Accord, Valdo Lawrence, says that the Alliance for Change's approach to its position on the prime ministerial candidate could affect the outcome of the entire negotiation.
Well, let me say this, it's a negotiation. And you don't come into a negotiation that you're sticking to this or sticking to that. We have to find that common ground. As I said, on many other issues, we had very long discussions, but at the end of it, we came together and we found that common ground on which we can move forward with. And I'm quite certain that with the two issues, the presidential candidate, the prime ministerial candidate, that we will be able to work together to find that common ground. And if not, we have that opportunity to send it forward to the leaders.
Minister Lawrence says the coalition is no longer at the embryonic stage of the relationship, as many term them as duly married. As such, she is confident that the team will be able to resolve these matters. According to Lawrence, the negotiating teams have made significant progress in addressing other components of the accord, even those that had proven to be a challenge.
We have done well so far. We have been able to come up with the core principles, which we signed on to, sent to our leaders. We are working on the revised accord, and we have done a tremendous lot of work on the revision of the accord. We trust that we'll be able to complete that as soon as possible and move on to our next task.
Apart from the current stalemate in negotiations between the APNU and AFC, the minister said supporters of the coalition can be assured that the progress will be made in addressing the issues.
I want to say to all of our supporters, those of the APNU and the AFC, that this coalition is alive and well. And like in any family, there are times when you have to stop and think again. You have to stop and take a breath. You have to stop and take a breath and then move on again. And I think that we have proven over the last 4 years that together we can move this country forward. Together we bring different views, and those views are all towards one objective, and that is to ensure that we develop Guyana, that we give every person in this country a chance to participate in the spoils of the country, and to ensure that we give good leadership as the government of today and the government in the future.
Talks between the APNU and AFC have reached a halt as the two sides cannot reach an agreement on the selection of the prime ministerial candidate. This was confirmed by AFC executive Dominic Gaskin during a press conference held yesterday. Gaskin said the AFC has pulled out from talks with its governing coalition partner. The two major parties within the coalition government were in the process of reviewing the Cummingsburg Accord, the deal which gave birth to the coalition and led to their 2015 election victory. Gaskin, who serves as a member of the negotiating team with APNU, told media operatives that Kemraj Ramjatan must be the prime ministerial candidate for the coalition in the 2020 elections. According to reports, polls conducted for the coalition show that while supporters of the PPP prefer to see Ramjatan as the PM candidate, APNU AFC supporters prefer Nagamutu over Ramjatan. Other sections of the media have also reported that President David Granger has been looking at other potential prime ministerial candidates from within the APNU camp. Only recently, Minister Ramjatan had expressed confidence in being selected as the president's running mate. To further clarify the issue during a PNC press conference, the chairwoman of the main party in the Partnership for National Unity, Minister Wanda Lawrence, again at the PNC press conference, rejected statements that there has been a breakdown in the ongoing talks with the AFC. She said the coalition will come out stronger than before. Kingsley Bryan provides the details in this report.
The smaller coalition party, the AFC, at a press conference organized by the party, by way of its treasurer Dominic Gaskin, stated outrightly that there can be no further talks until all issues surrounding the selection of the coalition's prime ministerial candidate is resolved. The AFC is adamant that their position is non-negotiable, and AFC leader Kemraj Ramjatan must be selected. However, at a press conference organized by the PNC chairperson and Minister of Health, Wanda Lawrence, sought to impress on the media operatives that all is well with the negotiations and that there has been no breakdown in the talks.
And it's such a good atmosphere. So, I see the seriousness as though there is some fight and so on going on. Let me tell you, the discourse has been very enriching. And it has been going back and forth. Both sides have been bringing their thoughts, their views, and so on to the table. And so all of those have been taken by both sides.
She said it's not a them and we issue. Minister Lawrence stressed that the process has been tedious, resulting in many long nights and days, but she's confident that the coalition will come out stronger.
And so we have absolutely every confidence that this team will be able to complete its work given to us by our leaders, and we will be able to come out stronger than we've ever been before. There is absolutely no doubt on our side. And I'm quite certain that you've heard from Minister Trotman, who also spoke at the AFC press conference.
When grilled on the apparent breakdown in talks over the PM candidate selection following the AFC statement on Thursday, the PNC chairwoman posited that talks are ongoing and it would be unwise to pronounce. She, however, said she was surprised with the party's statements, since other issues are also resulting in much back and forth, and there was no indication from the AFC that they are no longer interested in talking.
Yes, because this is not the only matter that has been parked and remains parked to date. And so, yes, there was some element of surprise. But let me just go forward to say that the AFC is an independent party, and I'm quite certain that in that independence, they have their rights and they will determine their agendas.
President Granger at an earlier occasion had hinted at the possibility of the PM candidate being drawn from another party in the coalition. To this, Minister Lawrence said the PNC as a party stands with whatever decision the president makes.
If the president and the leader of our party speaks, well, then you can take what he has said to the bank. He's the leader, he's the president. And if he made such a statement, then he will certainly stand by that statement and we will support him.
Given the fact that the AFC expressed their dissatisfaction with the talks just the day before, it was asked of the PNC chairwoman why then, if the talks are progressing smoothly, would one party vent otherwise? Minister Lawrence in response said the reasoning is beyond her.
I don't know why I would be happy and full of energy all day today and go home tonight and start to shiver and then realize that I'm having the flu. Things happen. We're human beings. We're not perfect. All right?
For Globespan 24x7 News, this is Kingsley Bryan.
Thanks, Kingsley. In light of the ongoing stalemate between the coalition partners, APNU and AFC, political scientist Dr. David Hines says that both parties may have to make certain compromises in order for the issues regarding the selection of a prime ministerial candidate and others to be resolved.
The AFC is not going to win an election on its own. The APNU is not likely to win an election on its own, although it will do very good and stands a chance of winning. But I think the coalition is a brand. It's a brand. And if you take away the AFC from that brand, then you compromise the brand. And so I think it's in the interest of the PNC, WPA, the AFC, and all the other political parties that they go together as a coalition. My sense is that they would have to make some compromises.
Yeah,
and as is usual with these cases, it is the party that has the bigger hand or the bigger stake that would be called upon to make the compromises. So it seems to me from this vantage point that it may be up to the APNU to make whatever compromise that they need to make. You see,
in 2015, when the Cummingsburg Accord was inked, the AFC came with express strength and had about 10% support from the general population, says Dr. Hines. However, he claims that the AFC has lost that bargaining chip and therefore puts them in a position where they cannot make the same demands. In fact, the political analyst said the question is whether there will be a revised Cummingsburg Accord or a new one. But from all indications, he said it seems that the APNU wants a new accord and the AFC wants a revised one. Nevertheless, he is confident that they will come to a compromise on the issues.
It seems to me that the AFC may have to make some compromises as far as the prime ministerial position is concerned. But if the AFC were to give up the prime ministerial position, what do they get in return for that? Do they get more than 40% of the ministerial positions and 40% of the parliamentary positions? These are things that you've got to work out. If they give up the prime ministership, are you prepared to then give them 50% of the parliamentary seats that you win, or 50% of the cabinet if you win? So these are things that are up in the air, and it's very difficult to make a prediction at this point about what will happen or what should happen.
That was Dr. David Hines, an associate professor of Caribbean and African Diaspora Studies in the School of Transformation at the Arizona State University. He is a political scientist who specializes in Caribbean and African diaspora politics and society. Please look out for the full interview on our social media pages. As the time draws closer for two of the final major calendar events in Ghana, Diwali and Christmas, Public Security Minister Kemrat Ramjatan has revealed that plans are being made to have increased police patrol throughout the capital city and across various regions to ensure an incident-free holiday season. The details in this report.
With a recent spike in criminal activities and due to the rise in petty crimes during the holiday season, Guyanese are expressing concerns regarding their safety as two major holidays quickly approaches. To assure the general populace of their safety, Public Security Minister Kemrat Ramjatan has disclosed patrols will be beefed up. He made this disclosure during a recently held state radio program and highlighted that the public must also play their part.
Yeah, well, it requires lots more patrols by our policemen. It requires, again, members of the public, as I have indicated, being alert. They must not just fall into the normalcy of the situation. They have to be far more alert, and to take a look at the back and find out who is following them, things like that. We have to, because if you're going to go out and try to go out in groups and so on, that is what the police generally will tell you, and that is definitely what it is all about, to secure yourself.
Minister Ramjatan also noted that with the aid of CCTV footage, criminal elements who utilize bikes as their modus operandi will be easily apprehended.
But we are going to, in a way, beef up the police patrols all across the place. We have utilized our video cameras and the command center that we have at Lilindale to check on a number of these bicycle and motorcycle guys for a period of a couple of days. And after that, we then go in, and that happened yesterday and the day before, whereby we then, having identified them, ensure that we go and arrest them.
53% of all crimes occurring in Georgetown, the Public Security Minister described it as having several hotspots. These hotspots are mapped and assets diverted to suit. The holistic approach, he noted, which also entails well-lit streets and cooperation from village and citizens, will help the cause. For Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
Thanks, Shakima. Remember to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest news in Guyana, the Caribbean, and around the world. Coming up on the other side of the break, works ramp up at Maikoni Sea Defense as spring tides approach, and Guyana prepares to celebrate Diwali, traffic advisory issued.
Globespan GT is a proud sponsor of Globespan 24x7 News. Here are some exciting news from Globespan GT. Fares have dropped for next year, starting January 20 to August. American Airlines has cheap fares on non-stop flights to New York. Flights are as low as $306 one way and $540 round trip, all tax included. Take advantage of these cheap fares on American Airlines non-stop flights to New York. Globespan has also cheap fares to Miami, Toronto, Canada, and the Caribbean. Call Globespan GT in Georgetown at 227-1701, that's 227-1701, or in Rose Hall call 337-4298, and New Amsterdam at 333-6230. That call Globespan GT in Georgetown at 227-1701, that's 227-1701,
or in Rose Hall, call 337-4287.
And in New Amsterdam at 333-6230.
Welcome back. You're watching Globespan 24x7 News. We continue tonight's news by telling you that the Ghana Agricultural and General Workers Union, GAU, has reported that as of October 24, the sugar production for the current crop stood at 35,397 tons. This means that the industry is now required to produce 40,446 tons of sugar if it is to realize its target of 75,843 tons. GAU anticipates that the Ghana Sugar Corporation, Gaisuku, will extend its crop as far as practicable, but according to their analysis, at this time it indicates that the extension will result in a shortfall of the crop target. Open quote. Information reaching the union indicates that contrary to previous statements by the corporation, the factories continue to experience difficulties. In fact, some officials in Gaisuku have shared with us that they cannot understand what is really taking place, and quote, a statement from the union added. The GAU said that it has also learned that the factories suffered breakdowns many times not too long after they would have undergone their weekly maintenance. The union is therefore questioning what is taking place at the level of the management of the industry's factories. In fact, GAU has been informed that factory breakdowns during the ongoing second crop totaled 498 hours as follows: Albion 253 hours, Blairmont 96 hours, and Iflot 146 hours. The union ended by saying, while we expect the corporation to tell us and the public that lack of investment is the main culprit, we at the same time must ask again what happened to the money secured to recapitalize the industry and address the very issues that are popping up with too much regularity. End quote. Meanwhile, the Mayor and City Council MNCC of Georgetown is advising the general public to take all necessary precautions during the springtide period from October 25, 2019 to October 30, 2019. It is predicted that above normal high tides should be expected. The MNCC said that its engineers department suggests that the following low-lying areas such as Lazytown, All Boys Town, Albert Town, Riverview, Alexander Village, Working Rust, South and North Rhineveld, West and East Rhineveld may be at risk for flooding. The municipality said this is due to overtopping as a result of surges that rise above the sea defense structures. Therefore, persons must take the necessary precautionary measures. Additionally, all vendors who operate within the precincts of the Stabroek Market are asked to take the necessary precautions to ensure that their goods are properly secured. The highest tides are expected on Sunday, October 27, 2019, between 2:55 a.m. and 3:33 p.m. at a height of 3.29 meters, and on Monday, October 28, 2019, between 3:43 a.m. and 4:13 p.m. at a height of 3.31 meters. Every step is being taken to strengthen the Maikoni Sea defenses. This is being done in light of the springtide and severe challenges within the zone already impacted by September's tide that hit the area. The details in this report.
Some 6,000 tons of rocks have been delivered to construct a rock armor in the area spanning 3 kilometers from Datsing to Fairfield. In Fairfield, A&S General Contractors Incorporated has constructed 100 meters of riprap structures, with more works to be done. Within the Datsing area, BK International has responsibility for trucking material in via the road along the access dam to the foreshore. According to the Department of Public Information, that access dam was widened and enhanced to allow the steady flow of the heavy-duty vehicles. Both stone and dirt are on a continuous flow to Datsing. Currently, excavators are mounting dirt along the earthen embankment to support the boulder stones that are set in place along the shoreline. The National Drainage and Irrigation Authority has positioned 2 diesel pumps in Cottage and 1 in Datsing. By the end of the week, another pump will be set up in Datsing, bringing the total drainage capacity to 4 pumps. These pumps will discharge water from the Bellamy Canal that runs parallel to the earthen embankment into the Atlantic Ocean. Further, the Mahaika Woodland Sluice will be fully operational during low tides to ensure maximum drawdown of water from the Bellamy Canal. The NDIA and the Public Infrastructure Ministry have also empowered many of the rice lands within the Datsing to Fairfield area, in addition to the access dam leading into Datsing foreshore to reduce the chances of heavy flooding in the residential areas. In addition to the contractors executing the emergency works, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure has also engaged multiple rock suppliers to support the work on the ground. Both contractors in Maikoni will continue works even as spring tides begin on Friday. Residents living along the coastal belt of Regions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 have been advised by the Civil Defense Commission (CDC) to take all necessary steps to minimize damage to property and to prevent health hazards. For Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
Thanks, Shakima. Minister of Public Health and Chairwoman of the People's National Congress Reform, Valda Lawrence, at the party's weekly press briefing, said that the PNC remains committed to addressing what the party deemed injustices of the past administration. But she is maintaining that the government's efforts were put to shame with the lack of evidence in the form of physical witnesses.
With regards to bringing them to the courts, as you have heard from the government side, that despite the various investigations launched, that what we fail to be able to do right now is to get the witnesses to come forward, because people are still afraid, they're still fearful.
Minister Lawrence stressed that in the government's view, these atrocities have been confirmed and not just laid as allegations. The PNC chairwoman said the party is still hopeful that with the right enactments, attempts at prosecutions will be successful.
And we trust that we will be able to use the protection law for whistleblowers to provide those persons with protection and give them the confidence to come forward and to give evidence. What is the use of going to a court if you don't have persons, witnesses to come forward and substantiate many of the ills that was done in this country?
The PNCR chairwoman expressed her disappointment with the outcome of the many court cases that were brought by this government, citing the recently quashed GRDB matter. She said it is expected that all routes of appeal will be exhausted.
I don't think that that's the end of it. I think the Attorney General will address this matter to ensure that he will utilize the grounds for appeal to continue to go after persons who are accused of committing wrong deeds.
The PNC executive, however, posited that government is still pursuing justice in many of the cases since there are facts and not just trumped-up propaganda.
We are not talking of anything that we make up, that we just pull from out of the air. These are facts. And we have persons within our country who to this day are still traumatized by some of the things that was meted out to themselves or their families. So as we move along the continuum, I'm quite certain that many of those issues, people will become more confident and we will be able to address those issues in the rightful place, which is the courts.
Minister Lawrence said the coalition has fulfilled their promise to the electorate of having those matters brought to the fore upon assuming office. She said the investigations were carried out as a means to fulfill those promises, but at this juncture, due to fear, there are no witnesses, which makes any litigation incomplete. Meanwhile, due to the increased demands, the Ghana Cancer Foundation is set to offer a number of free mammograms and sonograms as part of their activities for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The details in this story.
Get screened early was the message from the founder of the Guyana Cancer Foundation, Bibi Hassan, in an interview today with Globespan 24x7 News. As countries across the world celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month 2019 under the theme Give Hope, Save Lives, the Cancer Foundation is playing their part to spread awareness. The founder, Bibi Hassan, stated that many women are unaware of the importance of getting screened, and this spawned a collaboration with the Dr. Balwant Singh Hospital to provide the needed service to women.
We're offering, we already did 44 mammogram and sonogram with Balwant Singh Hospital, and as from next week we will be offering 80 mammogram and sonogram to medically underserved, underinsured and low-income women. I will repeat, medically underserved, underinsured and low-income women. And
when breast cancer is detected early and if adequate diagnosis and treatment are available, there is a good chance of the disease being cured. If detected late, however, curative treatment is often no longer an option. In such cases, palliative care to relieve the suffering of patients and their families is applied.
Importance of getting screened for early detection. What you find, sometimes people got lumps, they got cysts, and it's very important to get screened for early detection. Sometimes people get fibroids in the breast and they don't even know, and normally you have to use a needle aspiration to get the fatty tissue out of the breast. It's not cancerous, but sometimes it's benign.
So that's why it's important.
Yes, it's very important that women from 20 and onwards should get screened, and women 40 and over. The screening guideline, international screening guideline for mammogram is 45, but in Guyana they normally do it from age 40.
The majority of deaths occur in low and middle income countries where most women with breast cancer are diagnosed in the late stages due to mainly lack of awareness on early detection and barriers to health services. Interested persons can contact the Guyana Cancer Foundation via Facebook for more details on how to get signed up for the screening. For Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
This year, Diwali, the Festival of Lights, will be observed on Sunday, October 27, and persons, particularly in the Hindu society, are already making preparations for this special occasion. Here's a special report on Diwali.
Diwali, also known as the Festival of Lights, is celebrated to honor Lord Rama, who it is believed on this day returned to his people after 14 years of exile, during which he fought and won a battle against the demons and the demon king Ravana. The date for Diwali changes every year as it is calculated on the position of the moon on the darkest night, and 15th day of the Hindu October or November. However, for the past years, the two major Hindu groups differ on the dates and opt to observe the festival on different days. But this year, they agreed on one date. This Hindu festival brings together Guyanese from all walks of life together. A lot of the activities surrounding Diwali also bring people together. Ramalila, Rangolis, motorcades, pageants and other activities countrywide are enjoyed and celebrated by a wide cross-section of Guyanese. Rajkumari Singh, a commissioner at the Ethnic Relations Commission, gave further insight into this major Hindu celebration.
For someone, Diwali signifies triumph of good over evil. And that simply means that if one is to eradicate the darkness in one's heart in the form of untruth, jealousy, greed, and to allow light to usher in one's heart, then you will usher in values of integrity, honesty, truth, care, and compassion. So that is why Diwali is such a significant festival, a beautiful festival, not just for me, but for everyone. Again, because it can break down the barriers of religious barriers, as I alluded to earlier, social barriers, because everyone get out there and light up all their dias and admire the beautiful floats and motorcades that we have around. Economic barriers, regardless of how you are, you go out there and you come together at this time. And it's a time for caring and sharing. Persons will make the traditional Indian sweetmeat and share around the villages. And everyone look forward to eating the sweetmeats and the delicious 7 curry, of course, at this point in time.
The most significant Hindu festival of Diwali is observed by more than 1 billion people worldwide. Diwali motorcade will be held on Saturday, October 26, while on Monday, October 28, has been declared a public holiday. For Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
The Guyana Hindu Dharmic Sabha will be hosting its Diwali motorcade on Saturday, October 26, 2019 from 1800 hours. The motorcade will leave the Shir Krishna Mandir at Camberville to the Le Bon Intention LBI ground. Hence, the following roads will be closed to facilitate this activity. J.B. Singh Public Road and Lamaha Street, no entry to vehicular traffic proceeding north. Carifesta Avenue at the roundabout, no entry east to vehicular traffic. Sheriff and David Streets, no entry to vehicular traffic proceeding north. Carifesta Avenue and Cam Street, no entry to vehicular traffic proceeding east. Seawall Road and Cam Street, no entry to vehicular traffic proceeding east. And East Coast Highway and Bedford and Public Road, no entry to vehicular traffic proceeding west. The Ghana Police Force wishes to apologize for any inconvenience caused. We are now on Twitter and Instagram at hashtag Globespan 24x7. Do follow us and spread the word. Coming up on the other side of the break with Whitney Prasad at our New York studio, Diwali preparations picking up pace in New York, and another body found at illegal dumping site in Trinidad.
To keep up with breaking news in Guyana, the rest of the Caribbean, and on the international scene, like, follow, and subscribe to Globespan 24x7's Facebook and YouTube news page. Join the conversation, get live news on the go, and news and details right here on Globespan 24x7 News.
Travelspan is a proud sponsor of Globespan 24x7 News. Travelspan has some cheap fares to Guyana on American Airlines flights. Fly from January for $234 one-way and $512 round-trip. Take advantage of these cheap fares on American non-stop flights from JFK to Guyana. That's non-stop flights from JFK to Guyana starting as low as $234 one-way and $512 round-trip. And also has the cheapest fares for Christmas that starts as low as $799 round-trip. Travelspan celebrating 25 years in business with over 10 offices to serve you. Call 718-845-0437. That's 718-845-0437. Or book online at travelspan.com. Book early and save.
Good evening. Thank you, Samuel. Thanks for staying tuned. And now for a look at news in the diaspora. The Guyanese and Trinidadian Hindu community in New York has started their preparations for the 2019 Diwali celebrations ahead of Sunday's festivities. Liberty Avenue is bubbling with excitement as residents usher in the Festival of Lights. Rows of sweetmeats and beautifully colored cultural wares are laid out by various businesses to mark the commencement of this year's celebration. Last week, the annual Diwali motorcade made its way through Liberty Avenue, the heart of Richmond Hill, Queens, and saw a fusion of culture from Hindus around the world coming together to be part of the grand cultural extravaganza, which featured performances by young local talents. Diwali, which originated in India thousands of years ago with several religions observing the festival, marks a new beginning and for some coincides with harvest and New Year celebrations. The festival observes the triumph of good over evil and light over darkness. The word Diwali stems from the Sanskrit word Deepavali, which means rows of light lamps. The celebration is often marked with street parties, festivals, and special food, and traditional earthen diyas or candles are lit for the occasion. Turning our attention to news in Trinidad and Tobago, the body of a Trinidadian man who the police described as a piper was found under a mattress in Penal yesterday. Police officers said Claire Anthony Alcala of Marigold Drive, Zipara, was found along the Penal Road where there is an illegal dumping site. Officers were at the scene up to late yesterday evening and could not say how the man met his death, as they did not observe any marks of violence on his body. Police said that around noon, an anonymous caller alerted them to the body. When they went to the area, they found him several feet from the roadway. It appeared that he had been thrown hours before. Officers of the Homicide Bureau of Investigations Region 3 and Crime Scene Unit also responded to the investigation. Investigators said Alka was known to them for minor drug possession offenses. And Russian agent Maria Butina, who admitted to acting as an agent and infiltrating U.S. political groups, has been freed from a Florida prison and will be deported to her home country. Butina was sentenced to 18 months earlier this year after admitting to a single count of conspiracy, but was given credit for the time already served. The 30-year-old pro-gun activist tried to infiltrate the National Rifle Association to influence policy. Russian officials say she is expected to arrive in Moscow on Saturday. Butina was released from a low-security prison in Tallahassee and is being transferred to a migration center in the city of Miami to be deported. In 2018, she was arrested for acting as an agent of the Russian Federation without prior notification. Ontario's health minister has said that the province will ban the promotion of vaping products in convenience stores and gas stations in a bid to prevent youth from being exposed to the addictive habit. Christine Elliott said Friday the ban will take effect on January 1st, 2020, and is in response to new research which shows vaping is on the rise among young people in the province. Ontario was set to ban the promotion of vaping products in convenience store under the previous Liberal government, but the Progressive Conservative government paused regulations that were to come in effect on July 1st, 2018, shortly after it took office. The province will still allow vaping to be promoted in specialty vaping and cannabis shops, which are open to people aged 19 and older. The government will make the change by amending a provincial regulation to bring it in line with the current ban on in-store tobacco promotion. And the European Union ambassador have agreed to delay Brexit, which will not make a decision on a new deadline until next week. The EU Commission said work on the extension would continue in the coming days. The decision was made after the Chancellor said that the government's deadline to Brexit next Thursday cannot be met. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said he was waiting for the EU to decide what they wanted to do. MPs are expected on Monday to consider the Prime Minister's call for an early general election. Johnson reiterated that he wants to hold December 12th as general election if the EU offers a Brexit delay until January 31st. This decision requires the support of two-thirds of the House of Commons, appear uncertain, with Labour not committing to how it plans to vote. Globespan 24x7 will be following this closely and give you an update as it relates to this story. Thousands of Zimbabweans are speaking out in what media has reported to be government protests against US and EU sanctions. The demonstrators say the sanctions have ruined the Zimbabwean economy, but the US and EU argue they have been imposed on individuals and companies and have no impact on the economy. The government has made the day a public holiday, providing buses for marches, and the president gave an address at the National Sports Stadium. The president reportedly said that the sanctions are neither smart nor targeted and has impacted the daily lives of the country's people in an immeasurable way, while pointing out the serious economic consequences. India's ruling party has lost its majority in a key state election. It has won 40 seats in the northern state, which is 6 short of the simple majority needed to retain power. The party and its ally have held on to power in the western state, but lost 15 of their seats. The results are being looked at as temporary obstacle for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Modi led his party's campaign from the front on the controversial decision to strip Indian-administered Kashmir of its autonomy was the ruling party's poll plank. The poll was seen as a referendum on the party's Kashmir policy. And finally, to end the news, TikTok, the viral short video app where millions of teens post comedy skits set to snappy music hooks, is facing a growing backlash in the United States. According to reports, U.S. lawmakers has warned that the app could pose a national security risk, and they're calling on regulators and intelligence agencies to investigate TikTok's ties to China. Senator Chuck Schumer and Tom Cotton want the U.S. Intelligence Committee to assess the national security risk of TikTok and other Chinese-owned platforms, saying in a statement Thursday that such apps could be used to spy on U.S. citizens or become targets of foreign influence campaigns. And that has brought us to the end of regional and international news. Let's now join Kumar Doshi for Tech Beat at our studio in India.
Thank you, Whitney. Namaste, salam, and good day to everyone. Diwali celebrations have officially begun in India, so I would like to wish all our viewers and the family a very, very happy Diwali from the Globespan 24x7 news and technical team. Today in Tech News, we shall look at a few jargons used in mobile cameras. Today's smartphones come equipped with a very comprehensive set of camera-related specifications. Our smartphones, for many of us, has become our primary camera due to it being the one we always have with us. There are two sides of a mobile camera, the hardware and the software. To make a good mobile camera, there should be a deep integration of camera hardware with the software. Today, we shall see the hardware side of mobile cameras. The resolution of camera on a phone is often measured in megapixels or million pixels. For example, a 12 megapixel camera can produce an image with 12 million pixels. A high number of megapixels matters most when zooming in or cropping a picture. Cell phone companies are launching phones with multiple cameras. Each camera has a different focal length. Focal length, usually represented in millimeters, is a basic description of a photographic lens. It is a calculation of an optical distance from the point where light rays converge to form a sharp image. Three main types of cameras on mobile phones are standard, wide angle, and telephoto lens. Lens with less focal length, that is usually below 35 mm, is a wide angle lens. Standard lens has a focal length of 35 or 55 mm. Lens with more than 55 mm focal length are considered telephoto lens that can zoom even more. Some cameras also include macro lens, with which you can go super close to an object. An aperture is a small hole through which light travels into the camera. It is normally expressed in what is called as f/stops and are represented in terms of f by 1 by 1.4 or f by 2 and so on, indicating the maximum length that can pass through onto the lens and onto the camera sensor. The lower the number, the larger the aperture of the hole, and the more the light that comes in, and vice versa. Optical image stabilization, or OIS, is a technology that is used to compensate for those times when your hand shakes while taking a photograph or a video. This is done through a combination of motors and gyroscopes installed in the phone, which will compensate for any camera movement detected. Laser autofocus is a sensor which bursts a laser beam at the object you point to using the camera and reflects it back, calculating the distance between the phone and the object. The technology, in simple terms, helps the camera sense the focus on an object at blazing fast speeds. That's all for the hardware side of mobile cameras. Tomorrow, we shall look at the software side of mobile cameras. I'm Kumar Doshi, bringing tech news from India back to our studio in Guyana for more news to come. Thank you, and once again, happy Diwali.
Thanks, Kumar. We'll now take a look at our bridge reports. And now we'll shift our attention to what's happening in the world of sport with Kingsley Bryan.
Thank you. Now here's a look at what's happening in the world of sports. The Confederation of North, Central America and Caribbean Association Football, CONCACAF, on Thursday confirmed the schedule and venues for the third and last round of group stage matches of the 2019-2020 CONCACAF Nations League. The League A, B, and C matches are set to take place during the November FIFA match window. The CONCACAF Nations League kicked off in September with the first 6 days of group stage matches, delivering exciting competition and setting the course for the journey to the CONCACAF Nations League finals and 2021 Gold Cup. The second round of matches for the new centralized men's national team competition that represents a new era of national team football for the Confederation took place in October with plenty of action. With victories over Trinidad and Tobago and Martinique, Honduras is the first team to secure a spot in the Nations League finals and the 2021 Gold Cup. Canada also earned a spot in the Gold Cup with a 2-0 win over the United States. After group stage round-robin play, the 4 League A group winners will advance to the CONCACAF Nations League finals to crown the first ever competition champions. The CONCACAF Nations League finals will take place in June 2020 at a venue to be announced. Additionally, the group winners from League B and League C will be promoted to League A and B, respectively, while the teams at the bottom of League A and League B will be relegated to League B and C, respectively, for the next edition of the CONCACAF Nations League. In September 2019, the Confederation confirmed that the 2019-2020 CONCACAF Nations League group stage will serve as the qualifying pathway for the 2021 CONCACAF Gold Cup for all 41 member associations. The full schedule and match times and fixtures can be obtained from the website, but Guyana will take on Aruba on November 14 in Guyana, before heading to Jamaica for the other matches. Meanwhile, Trinidad and Tobago's Varma Rambaram defeated returning title holder Guyanese Ransford Goodluck to become the new West Indies Full Bore Shooting Council, or the West Indies Full Bore Shooting Championships individual champion, following 3 days of intense skilled shooting at the Tucker Valley Rifle Range in Chaguaramas on the Twin Island Republic. Rambaran outperformed his fellow competitors, who laid claim to the top spot and bragging rights, and they hailed from Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, Bermuda, England, and Canada, apart from his homeland and Guyana. Dr. Rambaran only dropped a single point over the 3 days, creating a new WIFBSC record. Some 69 shooters shot at the 300, 500, and 600 yards ranges on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And when the last shot was fired and scored tallied with another new concept, since there was an introduction of electronic targets being used for the first time at these championships, Rambaran had a 100% performance in tallying 404 out of a possible 405 points in the X class. And we'll tell you that some of the world's biggest soccer clubs will travel to China in 2021 after the country was announced as the host of the first expanded edition of the Club World Cup. The competition, which currently features 7 teams, the winner from each confederation's major continental tournament, will be expanded to 24 teams for the first time. Open quote, "It is a historic decision for football," end of quote, FIFA President Gianni Infantino said while speaking at a FIFA Council meeting in Shanghai. Open quote, "The new tournament will be a competition which everyone who loves football is looking forward to. It is the first real and true Club World Cup where the best clubs will compete. It will allow us to generate sufficient revenues, but I want to underline this very, very clearly. FIFA will have zero out of this, because we will reinvest this into football," end of quote. Qatar will host the remaining 2 editions of the tournament's current format, with the 2019 competition getting underway on December 11. The new format will begin in June 2021, and the competition will run every 4 years from June to July. taking the place on the FIFA calendar currently occupied by the Confederations Cup, which is also being scrapped. It is expected to feature 8 European teams, 6 from South America, 3 from East of Africa, Asia, and North and Central America, and 1 from Oceania. Infantino confirmed that China, which has made football a national priority under President Xi Jinping, had been the only candidate to host the new format of the game. And that is what is happening in the world of sports. Join us on Monday as we continue to keep you updated on what's happening in the sporting arena. Over to you, Samuel.
Thanks, Kingsley. And that has brought us to the end of today's news. Before you go, here's a recap of our major headlines. Things happen, but talks ongoing, says PNC of alleged APNU-AFC stalemate. Political analysts said APNU-AFC may have to make some compromises in order to move forward. Security Minister says increased police patrols for Diwali and Christmas season. Lazy Tongue and All Boys Tongue among several other communities under flood watch. And Guyana prepares to celebrate Diwali, traffic advisory issued for motorcade. Thanks for watching Globespan 24x7 News. On behalf of the management and staff of Globespan 24x7, we'd like to wish every Guyanese here and abroad, especially our Hindu brothers and sisters, a happy Diwali. Until next time, do have a pleasant rest of the evening. Goodbye for now.